On Easter, I reflect on how the teachings of Jesus Christ and Lord Caitanya parallel. They are both incarnations of mercy and prema, love of God. In John 1:17, it is stated, "The law indeed was given through Moses. Grace and truth came through Jesus Christ." We see this especially displayed when the woman who was caught committing adultery was brought before Jesus. The scribes and the Pharisees stated that by the law of Moses, this woman should be stoned to death. What do you say? Jesus bent down and drew a line on the ground. He said, "Let anyone among you who is without sin be the first to throw a stone at her." He then bent down and again started writing. Some church fathers say that he began writing the sins of those who threatened her. The group of men left the woman. Jesus said, "There is no one here to condemn you, and neither do I condemn you. Go and do not sin again." Complete forgiveness, non-judgmental. In Lord Caitanya's teachings is the story of Jagai and Madai, who committed every kind of sin, even harming Lord Caitanya's dear associate, Lord Nityananda. Yet, rather than punish them, by Lord Caitanya's mercy they were reformed and told not to sin again. In the Old Testament and Vedas and Puranas, the woman in Jagai and Madai, these people would have been punished physically or even put to death. But with these two incarnations, there is forgiveness. That forgiveness cleared the path so that they can love God and reform themselves completely. When asked which commandment in the law was greatest, Jesus replied, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. This is the greatest and first commandment. And a second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. On these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets." Lord Caitanya is teaching that above religion, above economic development, above sense gratification, and above even mukti, liberation, which are the four goals of human life, is a greater goal, love of God. And he teaches about gossip, fault-finding, deceit, and how harming others in any way keeps one from loving God. How can one love God and then not love those who are parts and parcels of God? And one last meditation is with Jesus on the cross. In the Garden of Gethsemane, Christ is intensely praying. It says his sweat was like blood. He prays, "My Father, if this cup can pass from me, allow it to pass, but let your will be done, not my will." Jesus had known that he would suffer. This is his passion to save others. Before this, when he revealed this to Peter, Peter said, "This must never happen to you." Jesus replied, "Get behind me, Satan." Imagine being called Satan. Jesus said, "You are a stumbling block to me, for you are setting your mind not on divine things, but on human things." And so Jesus, he could have run away. He could have left the Garden of Gethsemane and saved himself. But his love is to do what God wants him to do, not what his own ego wants him to do. His love is to do what God wants him to do, even if it causes pain. Lord Caitanya prayed in his 8th verse of Shikshastakam, Let Krishna tightly embrace this maidservant who has fallen at his lotus feet. Let him trample me or break my heart by never being visible to me. He can do whatever he likes, but he is still no one other than the worshipable Lord of my heart. Revealing, again, how true devotion, true love of God, is doing that which is pleasing to the Lord, not pleasing to the false ego. Both Jesus and Lord Caitanya pierced through failed institutions. The Pharisees and Sadducees of the times of Jesus, they were lost in mundane religion and couldn't properly understand transcendence. Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, during his time, was the caste system. That was a failed system. Both of them broke open the doors to love of God and gave teachings based on humility, tolerance, and love. Happy Easter and Hare Krishna.